Nisham Yisechta Ma'aser Sheni Dav Zayin Omed Aleph. V'yin Nishmas Gid L'Bas V'Em Shchaim Yismei Yismei. Okay, let's just chaz over by Isai. We're holding at the Gemara and Dav Zayin Omed Aleph. Just chaz over briefly the Mishnah. The Mishnah says, "V'kei behema zichay shlomim v'chayi l'bos t'atayve yotza oil l'chulin." He has a behema. He wants to use the Ma'aser Sheni money to buy a behema, a shlomim, a regular shlomim. Now there's a machlokes in the Sifri. If there's a mitzvah to use the Ma'aser Sheni to buy shlomim or not. That's just an aside to keep that in mind here. We'll see how that translates throughout the sugya. So the Mishnah says, "Yotza or l'chulin, afa pisha or meruba labosa." Now, we asked on Friday, how is it possible? This he has money, which is Ma'aser Sheni money, and he wants to purchase with the Ma'aser Sheni money, as is the halacha, Shaitan Pasuk, buy food in Yerushalmi. Nesata b'chol asher tava nafshecha. Play Shaitan Pasuk. You should buy whatever you want. B'chol asher tava nafshecha. And he's buying now. He decided to buy shlom. You have to understand. If he said b'chol asher tava nafshecha, how does that agree with those that say that it's a mitzvah to buy bas shlom? He said b'chol asher tava nafshecha. Okay, that's a conversation for another day. But upon him, it says like this: if you bought the behemoth, which is a shlomim, now yotza oil l'chulin, afa pisha or meruba alabosa. So the oil goes out l'chulin, meaning you don't eat the oil. So if you don't eat the oil, what happens to it? You bought a behemoth now, and the behemoth becomes now kedusha Ma'aser Sheni because you use the money from the Ma'aser Sheni to buy this behemoth, and part of it is a shlomim, bosa, market on the mizbeach. But the oil doesn't go on the mizbeach. Yotza oil l'chulin. Take a look in the Mirah folder, just because it's shorter. Yotza l'chulin ain't tzorich le'echel doma b'Yerushalmi. L'chulin means you don't have to eat it in Yerushalmi. The same thing. And we'll soon see in the Gemara how we know this. It's really exeris hakosid. That's the only way to understand it. Because where does it go? Where did the kedusha of the Ma'aser Sheni go? So the Gemara has psukim and yukim from the psukim that if you do this, you buy a behemoth, so the oil goes out l'chulin without any l'chayre pigeon, any pediyah, just goes away. If you bought the rest of the behemoth with Ma'aser Sheni, the rest of it is shlomim, and that has kedusha Ma'aser Sheni and kedusha shlomim at the same time. Even if the oil is deroiv, it goes out l'chulin. Same halacha applies. Kade yayin stumais. We'll soon see in the Mishnah why it's called stumais. I mean, why does it only apply when it's a closed barrel? If he buys wine in a closed barrel, mokum shedakan limkar stumais. In such a place where that's the way you sell the wine with closed barrels, yotze kankan l'chulin. The kankan goes out l'chulin. Why? It goes along with the yain, just like by shlomim. We say when you bought the behemoth, it goes out l'chulin, so the oil goes along with the carbon itself. Why does the oil go along with the carbon itself? Because it's one commodity. You bought the behemoth has part of it is shlomim, and part of it is oil, which is not going on the mizbeach, but that also goes out l'chulin because it's one set. The same applies when you bought barrels of wine. So you have the wine. The wine is something which is a food, like the boss of the shlomim is a food. You could use that. It goes out. You have to eat it with kedusha shlomim. And who adinami, the wine is drinking this wine. It has to kedusha shlomim. But the barrel, yotza kan l'chulin, it goes out l'chulin. Look at me out fully. But ain't tzarich l'mochroi. What would you have to do if it doesn't go out l'chulin? You'd have to sell the barrels. The lochel dam of Yerushalmi, and use the money that you sold it for. That you'd have to eat in Yerushalmi. We're talking about here the people who are buying and selling the bossa and the barrels. Their only objective is the bossa, the food, which is the meat, and to drink the wine. One of them is a professional. He's a professional. Labadoides, and his objective is not just the basa for the shlomim, but he also wants to use the oiris, labadoides, to make these skins. That's his purpose in the purchase. Or yoitze chodesh, or is it chodesh? Labadoides, or chodesh, some other kind of a craftsman. He needs the skins as well. Or he needs the barrels for some other purpose. But he has in mind the barrels and the oil when he bought it. Then it doesn't go out l'chul. When do we say it goes out l'chul? If you bought it together with the bossa and the yain, and it's one thing. So then we say just like the bossa goes out l'chul because the sata that means the bossa, and who adina goes the wine is the chal shetav nashcha. So the kankan is one part of the purchase. But if he has in mind to do it separately, he has different uses for the oil, different uses for the kankan, then it doesn't go out l'chul, and he has to go and sell it and buy food in Yerushalayim. These are nuts and almonds. The same idea. You have the peel, and the peel is also it goes out l'chul the peel because he has no reason to use that for anything else, and that's why it doesn't say here that if it would be an uman, we would say the halacha is different here. Zikr goes out l'chul. Asemed, this is a type of a drink that's made out of the waste of the yayin. He pours that over water. So it depends. Actually, until it becomes vinegar or it becomes like chometz, einen nilkach b'keser ma'aser. It doesn't become. You can't use it for keser ma'aser. You can't buy it for keser. It's not a food. You can't mishichmetz because it's like water. Water is not something which you buy ma'aser sheni with mishichmetz. Once it becomes sort of like chometz, he says it's fermented. I mean, it's something which you could drink and it has like a taste of something which is wine flavored already. It seems a little bit meshacher. Then you can buy it. It's no more water. It's no more water. So therefore, you can buy it with kesem ma'aser, and probably the bracha could be changes as well. Now, that's the first part of the Mishnah. Now, the Mishnah says this is talking in the Reisha. We bought food behemoth that you could use it on the mizbeach. What about Lekeach Chaya, the Zivchei Shlomo? He bought not a behemoth, he bought a Chaya. And a Chaya is not royal Mizbeach, the Zivchei is Mizbeach, a behemoth, the Bosa Taiva. Or he explicitly purchased something not for Shlomo, he bought a behemoth. He bought the behemoth, the Bosa Taiva, Lo Yotza Oil L'chulin, the oil doesn't go out L'chulin. When do we say the oil goes out L'chulin? If he has two different things in mind. He has Bosa for Shlomo, but if he doesn't have the bossa for shlomo, he bought just a regular. He used the chaya for shlomo, which is not going to work for a carbon. And the bossa he bought for regular bossa, not for shlomo. He bought the bossa taiva for chulun. And then lo yotza or lechulun, or it doesn't got lechulun because we say it's not included in the purchase because it's not a carbon. If it's not a carbon, so it doesn't go out lechulun because it's not a food. Oil is not a food. If oil is not a food, so Kedushas Ma'aser remains on the oil, and you have to sell the oil and use that money to buy other food and use that in Yerushalayim. Have a look here in the Rashi Sirila on the left side. Brings here Gemara Menachos. We mentioned it on Friday, but it's good to just let's see this Gemara. This is one of the sides of this sugi here. The Rabbi Yochanan, the second line, the Rav Fulda, and the Rashi Sirila on the left side. This sugi is this Mishnah. It fits with Rabbi Yochanan's understanding. This Gemara Menachos Pei Beis. Hamatvis mois ma'aser l'shlomim koni shlomim. He takes money of ma'aser and buys the shlomim. Why? Now, what's the problem? Now you have two kedushas. You have a kedusha of shlomim, and you have also the kedusha of ma'aser sheni, which is very unusual. We don't find, to my memory, that there's such a thing that you have two types of kedusha. It's either the kedusha of ma'aser sheni, it's either the kedusha of bosa shlomim at the same time. Alima kedusha shlomim lemeichel al gabe ma'aser sheni. In other words, I don't know why, but that's the way the Gemara sets it up. That he's talking about that the kedusha of the shlamim came after the Ma'aser Sheni, because he purchased with the money of the Ma'aser Sheni, but he bought a behemoth. Or others learn that it's a mitzvah to do it like that. The mitzvah by kabbonos. Not supposed to buy something else, only a kabbonos. Now you want to be paid. It's two kedushas there, kedusha shlamim, and it also has a kedusha of Ma'aser of shlamim and Ma'aser Sheni. So you want to be paid. Each one needs a chaimish. So that's another proof that you see it has two kedushas here. Very kedushas here. Even the kind of high is like three chumshin. The day I see, according to the Yochanan, I see Masnisen, Kapashte, Vochi Kama. So the Yochanan, the Mishnah goes like this. Even the kind of Chayim with May Ma'aser Shlamim, and the Shlamim, he bought a Chayim from the money of the Ma'aser Shlamim. The Chayim, Hoyodad, Loichaz the Shlamim, he knows that from a Chayim. You can't make a Shlamim. The Chayim, Psul, the Kabin, Kedisa Bivzochim. So what is he doing? Why is he using it to buy a chaya? And he knows the chaya can't be a shlomim, so he can't. He's not mekayim that mitzvah of the shlomim, which it says he's supposed to use the ma'aser sheni for shlomim. V'adei l'domei hu dekama shim kirenu v'yevi b'demei shlomim. When he goes and he buys the chaya, what his intention is that he's going to sell the chaya and buy with it a shlomim, because that's the mitzvah. The mitzvah to do that. So why is he buying now? Why is he buying now a chaya? A chaya is not a roy for that. He means to say that he's going to do this temporarily. He's allowed to be paid the money or payers. In this case, we talk about money on something which is not the roy for Ma'aser Sheni, which is not a carbon, and then change it later on. But he says it like this: even though you're not going to use this money, you're not going to eat the basa chaya, you're going to sell the basa chaya and buy basa shlomim, because that's the mitzvah. So he said, but the basa chaya mius yoichel b'Yerushalayim. Even though the kedusha of the Ma'aser Sheni from the basa chaya is going to go away when you buy the basa shlomim, but you still have to eat the chaya in Yerushalayim. The payers be'al mahu. I don't know exactly what he means. That's payers be'al mahu. It's not the payers of the mitzvah. It's not, but that's what he says. Payers be'al mahu. I will. Ora chaya the chazi likach boy behemoth l'shlomim. What about the? Now he makes a chilik between the ora chaya and the basa chaya. The basa chaya, even though he's not makayim the mitzvah, and it's something which you have to sell and buy with it shlomim, but nonetheless the basa chaya has to be eaten in Yerushalayim. So even though you're being paid later and you're buying a regular shlomim with this basa chaya, but the basa chaya has to be eaten in Yerushalayim. It looks like the kedusha doesn't go away. Ora chaya, the skin of the chaya that he bought, the chazi likach by behemoth l'shlomim, that you could buy with it a behemoth l'shlomim, lo yotz l'chun. That doesn't go out l'chun. But the or l'chun, the kona or shem shlomim l'domav. So nacham, the bosa chaya means echel b'shlayim. The pays be'amu. Ora chaya, the chazi likach by behemoth l'shlomim, lo yotz l'chun. So the bosa the chaya goes out l'shlomim, goes out l'chun, but you still have to eat it in Yerushalayim. Ma'ashen kain the orf in the shlomim. The kana or shem shlomim l'domo dalime. Nachamod or achai the chazi likaboy behem l'shlomim l'yotz l'chun. The kana, because you could use the or of the chaya to purchase a behemoth shlomim is l'yotz l'chun. So he makes an afkamina choosing the basa of the chaya, which goes out l'chun. Ma'ashen kain the or of the chaya, that still has a shem shlomim on it. It's like almost like kedusha's bedek habayis, that you have to use that to buy something else which you could eat in Yerushalayim. But lo yotza oim kedusha shlomim kama. V'chein im loka behemoth mimoyes ma'aser sheni lebasa tav lo yakrov. Okay, zok the Mishnah right. He explains the Mishnah. Lo yotza or lechulin. Kedin toris ma'aser sheni. Then the mekach bekach. The or is not going to go out lechulin. Why not? because it's not the derech of the Mecca to buy something which you can't eat. It's not behemoth anikus min ma'aser sheni the chaz of the korban. Kirevim l'shlam k'tisanya b'sefri. That's the sefri, which is the mother of the Shmaisa here, which explains this machlokes if it's a mitzvah to buy the shlam or not. U'masini lo del chen koser achmona ba boker shet hazovu v'netzata b'chol shetav v'nafshecha ba boker u'batzoyin. Look at the pasuk on the side. You have the article, but no sata b'kesef v'tzata kesef yodcha pata mogan shenicha Hashem lekecha ba boker batzoyin shtei. So he dashes the Gemara like this. Masin lo liel chekos rachmona b'boker dinei dashin liel dem lakim pora agab oil b'yotz l'chul. Why is a pora? And the pora has the oil, so it goes out l'chul. Hainu kushabasa l'zevach. If you're buying the basa, and the basa is for shlomim, umavliya, this comes from the Gemara in Eruvin. Umavliya demeya osa b'basa b'lekicha. Why does the oil go out l'chulim? Where's the opinion on the oil here? How does the kedusha of the Ma'aser Sheni leave the oil? There's no opinion. So he says because it's muvla demeya oil b'basa b'lekicha. When you buy the basa, and the basa is something which you're supposed to eat in Yerushalmi, and that's understood. That's how he makes the pigeon for the money that he's bringing to Yerushalmi. He buys basa, and the basa you could eat. So that oil, the value of the oil is also included in the basa, and that goes out. The basa goes out, takes away the Ma'aser Sheni because you eat it in Yerushalmi. So that's as if the oil also is nivla and it goes out from the kedusha Ma'aser Sheni. The vadai kula, the kamer achmana, the Torah says a kula. What's the kula? So kichas behema. So baka batzayin. You use that's the pasuk in the Torah. Kishalakicha kidine hu the kama. When do we say that the oil goes out l'chulin? When you do the kedina. What says kedina? You bought with the money of the Ma'aser Sheni. You bought behem shlam. If it here he didn't buy a basa shlam, which is lav kedina. Akocha nitvis Hashem l'shlamim. So now what you have is Hashem shlamim. And the oil is not muvla. Why? Because it's not a korban. The about is not a korban. Is the bnei oil not nivla in the bosa? V'yiknim bnei oil l'shlomin. So you have to use now the money from the value of the oil. You're gonna have to buy with it a shlomim. So the motzi la'avruche min ha'mizbeach kuloi. You can't chase away the Ma'aser Sheni money from the mizbeach. The Ma'aser Sheni has to be used for something on the mizbeach. So that's if he bought a bossa. So the bossa goes on the mizbeach, and the oil is muvla. If you buy a chaya doesn't go on the mizbeach. So maybe the bossa is leyotz l'chul, and you have to sell it and buy with it something else which you're going to use it on mizbeach. What happens? He bought from the money for the Ma'aser Sheni. He bought a chaya, and the chaya is for bossa taiva. This regular meat. For a barbecue, the Tony Liel ain't mabriach haroy lemizbeach min hamizbeach. So nothing goes to the mizbeach. Nothing goes to the mizbeach. V'yotza lechulim mikdushas Ma'aser Sheni. The gdoyle mizu shai rachmona. V'hainu yain agav kankaned lav gufei. B'chol hashetav v'nafshecha. B'chol hashetav v'nafshecha. So maybe we say that the oil goes away. The kedusha Ma'aser Sheni leaves the oil. V'rab loza v'rab ami pliga lo m'fash masnisa minyacha. In Isa big Gemara. Where's the Gemara? The Gemara is in Menachos Pei Beis. Hope you can see the screen here. It's Pei Beis Amid Aleph. Omer Avami. It's a blood Gemara here, but just this line over here. Omer Avami Hamatvis Mois Ma'aser Sheni L'Shlomim. This is what the Rashi is referring to, I think. He uses the Ma'aser Sheni for shlomim. Loikon shlomim. My tama, the lo yalim kedushas shlomim lemecha kedushas Ma'aser Sheni. This is going according to the Mandama that says that you don't have to buy a bossa shlomim. Peitu Gemara Akasha v'na Mishnah. Beisvei alekei achayil zivchei shlomim v'behema l'bossa taiva. He uses Ma'aser Sheni. This Mishnah we just said. This Mishnah. To buy a chaya for shlomim and behema bosa taiva lo yotza l'chul. The oil doesn't go ad l'chulin because it's not didn't buy a basa be'ema for kachim, didn't buy a basa shlama. Lav l'meima, the koni shlama. But the oil is not for shlama, but the shlama is, you could use the ma'aser sheni to buy shlama. So here the Gemara is not learning like this. This is feed the Beirav that according to the Mandam it says it's a mitzvah to buy shlama. Here he's questioning whether you could buy also shlama. So he brings the raya from our Mishnah. The oil doesn't go out l'chulim. What happens to the other part, the basa, the koni shlama? You could buy with ma'aser sheni. The achidish, I don't think it says anywhere else in the Gemara such a thing that you could use two kedushas to go on one thing. The kedushas ma'aser sheni is going to go on the basa shlama. By the kedushas and a chal. So here the Gemara says loy koni shlama. Why doesn't the koni shlama? And in the Mishnah, the koni shlama ha'it ma'ala. The koni shlama ma'ala lo yotza l'chul. Hochi kama eine betoides lotzes l'chul. My tama nas kelekea shor l'charisha. As if you bought the shor for the charisha, not for the money for the use of a cob. So the Gemara has a kasha here. You telling me, Rami, that Hamatvis Mois Ma'ashen L'Shlomim L'Kon Shlomim. Why? Because the Lo Yalima Kedushas HaShlomim L'Meichel HaKedushas Ma'ashen. He's of the opinion that you can't have the Kedusha of the Shlomim, from the money of the Shlomim, to buy, I'm sorry, for the money of the Ma'ashen to be Chal Ma'ashen on Shlomim. And the Gemara has in our Mishnah. Shetach Lo Yotza L'Chul L'Av L'Meimid L'Kon Shlomim. You do see from our Mishnah that the kedusha of Ma'aser Sheni could be chal on the shlomim. There's a big machlokes if it's chal, not chal. But Itma Lo, so the one wants to answer Ravami from our Mishnah. That's a stam Mishnah. Itma Lo, Ravami like on the shlomim. My lo yotza. Our Mishnah then he's going to say you have to touch over it. He didn't buy a shlomim because it can't be chal. What does it mean lo yotza or l'chun? The mashma that it could be just that the oil doesn't have a thesis of shlomim. And Ma'aser Shleimi. Okay, just wanted to show this Gemara here because to keep in mind that we have to get around to the Sifri, learn the Sifri, and Taisus over here. A lot of things here to know. Why am I stopping here on this Gemara? Is because it's a mitzvah in the Torah, big mitzvah in the Torah, to use the Ma'aser Sheni to buy Shlomim, to buy Kabbalah or not. That's a big, it's a big machlokes Rishonim. And this is something which the Gemara here is going to be toilet in if I say that the Ma'aser Sheni is Momen Gavoya or Momen Hedget. See here the Gemara here, right here. I hope you can see my cursor here. Itma Matvis Mois Ma'aser Sheni the Shlomim. Somebody is using Ma'aser Sheni to buy Shlomim. There's a B'yochanan Oma Koni. It is Chal. And this is the Rash that brings over here. Rabbi Yochanan is the one that says that you can have two kedushas. Side the Ma'aser Sheni you could use to buy a shlomim. But Lezer Oimei Loikoni. Ali b'der Yehuda the Oma Ma'aser Momen Hedget. Remember the Mishnah in Kedushin. The Mishnah is the Meir Yehuda. Yehuda is the one that says that Ma'aser Sheni is Momen Hedget too. So according to that Rabbi Yehuda who says that it's Momen Hedget, which is Momen Hedget. The kulam alei pligi the koni. If it's Momen Hedget, everybody holds that Momen Hedget is not as needed to Shlom, to Kedusha Shlom. It's like two different things. So it could be chal together. Ki pligi aliba the meir the Oma Ma'aser Momen Gvoyehu. He says Ma'aser Momen Gvoyehu. If I say Ma'aser Momen Gvoyehu, it has the same Kedusha like Shlom, like Kedusha's Kabbonos. If it's Momen Gvoyehu, then you say these two kedushas can lo yalim Ma'aser Sheni l'meichel al shlomim. That is going to depend on this machlokes. Mandam aloi kani k'rameya. The one that says you're not koina mois Ma'aser Sheni you can't buy kabbonos. That's going to the mayor. He holds Momen Gavayu, because it's the same kedusha l'chayre. Umanda Oma kani is given the Ma'aser korilei shlomim. Ma'aser is called the shlomim. Ki mitzvahs nami tovus. It could be toivus. Okay, that's the chayr. This machlokes. Look the Mishnah weiter. Amid Aleph, Zayin Amid Aleph. Kade yayin psucha is lestumis. If the kade yayin are open or closed, shedaka limcha is psucha is leyotze kankan lechulin. If the derech is to sell this particular wine, where he's purchasing it, is to sell it psuchas, open. is layotze kankan l'chulin. And the kankan doesn't go out l'chulin because it's not part of the sale of the Ma'aser Sheni. We buy it with Ma'aser Sheni, and it's a closed barrel. So just like the Ma'aser Sheni is chal on the wine, it patters the kankan also. It's like a tofu. Masha Enkain, if it's an open barrels and you're selling the wine separately and the kankan separately, then you say that the kankan, the barrel doesn't go out l'chulin. Saleh teine v'saleh enovim, ima kli leyotze d'mei kli l'chulin. If he has baskets, these are not kankanim, these are sort of baskets of fruits, of figs and grapes. Ima kli leyotze d'mei kli l'chulin, because it's not the ordinary way to sell these things together. Have a look here, please, in the Pnei Moshe. Kada yaim psuchas k'b'shadach limka hayayim b'lo yakankan. Is demos sometimes like this, sometimes like that. You have to sell the kankan and buy with it mois ma'aser sheni. Saleh teine v'saleh anovim. These are not barrels; these are baskets of fruits, of figs and grapes. Ubenuschas mishnayis siv saleh zeisim saleh anovim, or olives. Is layotze d'mei kli l'chulin. Why doesn't the mei chulin? Why not? Why don't we say it has been like the kankanim? These baskets of fish derech l'mocha b'lo yakli. These fruits are sold sometimes without the basket. The one who happens to buy with the basket, gam ba'kli, but it's a separate thing. So here's the Gemara. I just want to see the few lines here. And the Gemara, this gives us a understanding. Where does the Mishnah get this from? That the Ma'aser Sheni could be applied to Shlomim, and it depends when the kankan is going to be part of the mechira, and the kedusha goes away from the barrel also, and when not. So the Gemara, where do I know it's from? Tani ben Bagba Goyim. Ben Bagba is the same Ben Bagba from the Mishnah Novice. Ben Bagba Goyim is look to us. Mesata kesef chalashatav nafshecha. Adai state in the Torah, what do you do with the money from the Ma'aser Sheni? Leikeachu odam pore mipnei oira. A person can go and use the Ma'aser Sheni, and he can buy a pore, and what he wants is the oil. V'tzayin mipnei gidisosai. He wants on the pore, he wants the skins, and when he buys cattle, tzayin, and he wants the wool. The yaim became kankanai, and he wants to buy, when he buys the wine, it's mutter to do this, even though he doesn't want to use this from food. Dr. Pnei Moshe, Tani Bebraisa, and this is the exact cause. This is how the Mepharshim say here that this is a chiddush that the Torah tells you could do this according to Ben Bagbag. And then it says Baboku Batzayin. If it says Baboku Batzayin is already included, so it tells you both things to tell me that if you're going to go buy a parah, and parah has two things in it, has baka and tzayin, it has the basa, and also has chalash tav and avshro, which is the oil. You could do it, and then when you do it, so the Ma'aser Sheni, kedusha Ma'aser Sheni, leaves the oil automatically. How does it leave? It's exeris hakosef. When you do that, and it's connected, so there's no kedusha Ma'aser Sheni on the oil either. Dr. Pnei Moshe, Tony B'Braisa Ben Bagberg, the Dorish Min Yosef. Mesata Kes Cholash Tav Nafshecho Im Kain Baboga B'Tzayin Lamali. If it says B'Cholash Tav Nafshecho, what do I need to enumerate the Boga B'Tzayin? Dr. Gemara El Drosha. It comes to tell me this halacha. What's the halacha? Kedutani. L'keyachu Odom Poreh Mipnei Oiroi Kloima. So agav oil, when he wants to buy with the Ma'aser Sheni, he wants to buy oil because he's in whatever, he has a need for it. And if you do that, you buy the parah because you want the oil, even though you want the oil, and the oil is not the baka b'tzayin, but the zeis hakosiv comes to be ma'be, even something which is not a dover achila, it's not even a machal, it's the skin. It goes out l'chulin, v'chein kulon k'detinim b'masis. The Ganze settled in the Mishnah, or Goizim, and it talks about the Bosa Taiva, and all these things that the Mishnah Mirachins and the Semed, who buys these drinks. All this is concluded in this chiddush from Bagbag, and Bagbag said, "Chatav nafshecha." So the Gemara says there that Baka, what do you need? It's the chinalu. The Havle the mitzvah Baka with some yam sheikha v'yata bebeis v'pei chom avin masichin dikasach mana Baka. Have I mean Baka who the mizavin agaba oire mishum the gufayu. You know why? Because Baka is goes with the oil because it's one shtick. The oil with the Baka goes together. Tzayin agabi is also the lav gufayu. The wool and the tzayin are separated. Not like Baka. It's not like the oil of a Baka. Because that's why he's saying why he's explaining why the Torah had to enumerate Baka, tzayin, yain v'sheicha. Because achman b'tzayin. Agabi zisase have a minute mishum the mechuba. The giza, the wool on the tzayin is more mechuba. Aber yain agabi kankan, the wine in the barrel emeloi. So that's why it has to say yain as well. Because if one of the yain have a minute mishum the hainu nitiruse. Wine without a barrel, it keeps the wine in good shape. Abel semed, this drink that you make out of the shmorim, the waste of the yain, you put it through the water. It's only like a sweat. This is also included because the vela clear the peyu. Abo yain agabe kankan loy because Rahman yain agabe kankan mishum hayin terusa. Again, the same idea because it keeps the wine fresh. Abo tzayin agabe gisasa emeloy. Even though the oil is more valuable, so how does he know this? To do this when you have the barrel is more valuable than the wine, and here the skin is more valuable than the bosom. You could do that. It says, what does that necessary? The hainu boss of the time, the carbon, but the boss, the oil is more valuable. That's an extra din to tell me on the oil. If you have the feathers of a bird, so that's because the mab oifis. Is part of the oil. Meruba la bosa kachusha. So it's not because it comes to be mab the oil, and in that particular case. Okay, Akaponim, we got a little bit more of a understanding of how this Mishnah works and why did we say that the oil goes out l'chulin. Look, the Ben Bagba b'chaba posting in the Torah that tells me you can do this, and this is a drash. This tells me that it goes out l'chulin, but it's not mashrim from here. It goes out l'chulin without any pidiyah, without no pidiyah, without no chaimish. But it doesn't tell me here that this is not going to leave the mandam, but it says it's a mitzvah to buy the shlom. But if you hold it's a mitzvah to buy the shlom, maybe this Mishnah wouldn't say that the oil goes out. Okay, this is nachasach was serenda. Okay, Rabbi say, seid gesund. Good.